Hey guys, I'm Deepti Desikin, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about some popular Lakme lipsticks, some best-selling Lakme lipsticks, at least in my humble opinion, because I couldn't pick out a lot of these lipsticks. Like, I couldn't pick up some of their popular lipstick shades because either they are discontinued, I can't find them anymore, and I didn't have the budget to pick up some of their launches because they launch a lot of lipsticks. You guys know about Lakme, they keep coming up with lipstick launches, and I don't have the budget, nor did I have the interest to pick up all of that because I didn't know that they'll go out of stock, and I didn't know that I will be doing this video. Anyways, I would have definitely missed out on some shades that are even now available. So I would love it if you guys comment down below and let me know some of those shades so that people who are watching this video taking reference can go through the comments. And if there's like a precise comment, I will also pin that comment. And I've also done a similar video like this for Maybelline and Sugar. I will link it right here. So the point of these videos are, in case you're looking for something from a certain brand, you can pick them up, but it is also to remind you that you have some popular shades in your collection that you have to maybe go back to and start reusing them again and not let them rest like that forever and buy new shades time and time again. Okay, so that is also the point of this video. So let me know what other brand you want to watch next if you want me to continue this as a series. So if you guys are interested, only then will I continue doing these videos. If you're not, I am stopping it right here. Okay, because it's quite pricey to make such videos because I have to buy some just to make a swatch video. So yeah. And also I filmed this video in natural light, and that's the reason there's like inconsistency in terms of the lighting in the video. I'm trying to adjust it as in when the sun is like in and out, but I couldn't do much. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy these swatches. Let's get started. So first up, I'm going to be swatching the Lakme Absolute Lip Crayon. This one is in the shade Roasted Almond. I love the formula of this. It's really comfortable, quite long wearing, pigmented as well. And this is a really nice, subtle nude shade for people of my skin tones. Of course, if you are lighter than me, you can pull this one off without makeup, but I do need a certain amount of makeup to pull this shade off. The next shade that I have is the Lakme Absolute Lip Crayon, and this one is in the shade Foxy Brown. What a beautiful brown toned red shade this is, and I think this would suit so many different skin tones. And oh my god, you guys, the formula of this is really comfortable, and a lot of you guys would really enjoy this for sure. So definitely do check this one out. So next up, I'm going to be swatching the Lakme 9 to 5 Primer Plus Matte Lipstick. A lot of these shades that were initially launched have been discontinued, so you can't really find a lot of your favorite shades again, even in today's swatch, because I don't really have it. So whatever I could pick up, I did. So the first one I'm going to be swatching is Rosy Sunday, which is one of my absolute favorite shades. I have used this one up so much. This is such a nice everyday lipstick for me. It doesn't wash me out. Love the formula of this. Extremely comfortable on the lips as well, and quite a bit of a unique shade in my collection. And the next shade we have is Coffee Command. This is something that doesn't work for my skin tone. This would work for someone of a lighter skin tone than I am. I don't find this to be very pigmented as well. I'm not sure if the formula has changed or I've received a fake one, but this is how the shade looks like. Next up, we have the shade called Caramel Latte, which is a very like subtle reddish brown kind of a shade, and I wouldn't recommend this for people of my skin tone. It is kind of sheer in the bullet. So yeah. Next up, I'm going to be swatching the Lakme Absolute Matte Lipstick. The first one that we have is called Mauve Me. This one is more of a pink shade than it is a mauve shade, at least in my opinion, and this is like a wearable warm pink shade. Nothing that is leaning too much towards the lilac hints. So it's a wearable pink, but it's certainly not a mauve shade and not like a nude shade. So next up, we have the shade called Nutty Chocolate. That is a red shade, and it also has a little bit of brown but subtle pink mauve hints to it as well, and it's captured a lot more right now. Like, you can see it on my lip swatch, and it's very visible. So this is a really nice shade, and it's a lot different from the shade called Foxy Brown. This one is Foxy Brown from the Lip Crayon, so they're not similar shades at all. You can see this one has a little bit more red pink hints to it. So I don't quite enjoy the formula of these shades are a lot better. I'm going to be swatching a couple of deeper shades as well. I find them to be very drying. They fade away very unevenly from the center of my lips. I even spoke about that when they initially launched this as well. So yeah. Next up, we have the shade called Dynamite Berry, which is a deep berry shade, and this is the shade that I was talking about that doesn't wear really well throughout the day, especially if you're eating something. It fades away from the center, looks really weird, so just keep that in mind. Next up, we have the shade Burgundy Blast, which is a deep burgundy shade. This again is a dupe for a lot of different high-end lipsticks like MAC, Sin and everything. So initially when it launched, I wanted to get my hands on it so bad, but I just put it off and I just got it for this video actually. Next up, we have the Lakme Cushion Matte lipsticks. These are a little bit more affordable than all of their other ranges. So first up, I'm going to be swatching the shade. I think I'm not very sure what it's called. It's not mentioned on the bullet at all. I will leave it right here on the screen. So this is a very cool toned greige nude kind of a shade. Again, depends on your preference of nude. I would prefer wearing this with a full face of makeup on. Not gonna deny that. Otherwise it might wash me out for sure. The formula of these lipsticks, they are a little bit sheeny and you need to build it up quite a bit, and they're not the most pigmented, but they're not very drying and super matte on your lips as well. Next up, from the same range, we have a shade called Brown Sugar. This is more of cool toned brown shade again, and it doesn't have much of a pink or anything, like a cool toned greige brown, but the previous one had a little bit more of a purple hint to it. This is just like a cool toned brown shade. Now, would suit different skin tones depending on your preference of this kind of a shade. So next up, I'm going to be swatching the Lakme Absolute Precision Lip Paint. I didn't get a lot of shades in this because I'm not a very big fan of this kind of like a pot lipstick. I find it to be a little bit inconvenient, especially when I'm in a hurry, but I got just 2 shades to swatch it for you guys. One is the shade called Whirling Brown, which I have for the longest time. This is what the shade looks like. This comes with a lip brush like this. So this lipstick does transfer quite a bit, and it's again not the most long wearing formula in my opinion, and so yeah, just letting you know. But the shade is beautiful. It's very similar to Talked with Brandy. If you didn't want Talked with Brandy because it's a liquid lipstick and you wanted it to be in a creamier form, you can try this out. Next up, we have the shade called Cashmere Mauve. This is again more of a purple toned pink shade. These kind of pinks are not my favorite, especially on my skin tone, but if you like it, of course you can try them out. So next up, we have the Lakme 9 to 5 liquid lipstick. So you can use this on your lips as well as your cheek. The first shade we have is called Plum Feather. This is a bright pink shade, and this would work for a lot of people depending on your preference. It's not my personal favorite. However, the formula of this is not very liquidy, but it's kind of like a mix between a mousse and a liquid lipstick. And this formula can be a lot more comfortable for you to use compared to your typical liquid lipsticks. Now, next shade we have is called Blush Velvet. This is, I think, popular among people of lighter skin tone because it certainly doesn't work for my skin tone. It's very pale. It washes me out. So next up, we have the shade called Coffee Light, which is a mix between MAC Somi and MAC Topped with Brandy. It's like right in between. It's sort of like a unique shade, different in terms of undertone as well. And this, I think, works a lot for people who want to experiment with their lipstick shades, and this would suit any skin tone but with a full face of makeup on, otherwise it would wash you out. Next up, we have the shade called Cocoa Soft. I can see why this was super popular because it's a red shade. It has a lot of brown undertones to it. Would look so good on people of medium tan and deeper skin tones as well. So yeah, I just observed that the formula of these mousse liquid lipsticks, they change over time and they become a little bit more watery over time. You have to really like squish it up really well in the tube, like nicely push the product to get that even application. And then next up, we have these are their Forever Matte Liquid Lip Color. These are again really affordable formula. The first one we have is called Mauve Party. This is what the shade Mauve Party looks like. It's a beautiful mauve, deep mauve shade, and the formula of this again is a little bit runny, and some of them have a little bit thicker formulation, like it's not consistent throughout the shades. And these are comfortable on the lips, but they are not the most pigmented liquid lipsticks I own, but for the price you can't really complain, and the shade selection is amazing. They do transfer quite a bit, and they do transfer when you have your meal and everything, but it's not drying and you can also easily reapply it. The next shade that we have is called Mauve Ecstasy. So this shade in Mauve Ecstasy looks a lot deeper like in the tube, but because it's extremely runny, the formulation of it is extremely runny, it doesn't really show up that way on the lips. It's very hard to apply. It's extremely watery. This is what I meant when I mentioned that the formulation is not like consistent throughout. Next up we have the shade called Nude Twist. Again, a very popular shade. People love this shade, okay? Like, I've got so many comments about this particular shade so many times. It's a warm toned nude shade. It has a little bit like of an orange hint to it, a little bit of subtle brown hints to it as well. Again, the formula of this is quite watery. It was not applying evenly on my lips, so this is what the shade looks like. So this shade I feel like would suit people up to medium skin tones. It's not something that is universally flattering, at least in my opinion. Of course, if you are medium tan and deeper skin tones, you can mix and match this particular shade or use it with a lip liner and get it to work. But I feel like particularly on my skin tone, I don't really like it that much without makeup. Next up we have the Lakme liquid lipstick in the shade Nude Dream. This is one of my favorite shades, and this is something I feel like works for my skin tone without makeup, with makeup, and it's something I can wear on a daily basis without it washing me out. So this is something you can definitely look into. Next up, I'm going to be swatching a couple of shades from the Lakme Absolute Matte Melt Mini Liquid Lipsticks. The first one I have the shade called Brown Souvenir. This is such a nice brown tone shade with a little bit of red as well to it, and I've seen this swatch on so many different skin tones with different kinds of lip pigmentation as well, and it looks beautiful. It goes on runny, but it dries down completely matte, very comfortable on the lips, and a very long wearing liquid lipstick formula. I have worn this so many times. This is actually one of my like everyday liquid lipstick formula, and it doesn't dry my lips out, doesn't transfer as much, doesn't create a ruckus, and even if it does bleed, it's very easy to fix it as well, and also to reapply it. Next up we have the shade called Wine Voyage, and this is really runny. It's a deep red shade, and it's quite runny, quite patchy on the lips. I had to layer it up pretty well. Because it's runny and it's a thin texture, it takes a long time to dry down on the lips completely. The shade is beautiful if you can get an even swatch out of this particular lipstick. Next up we have a shade called Magenta Rhythm. Beautiful deep pink shade, and I love it. It has a little bit of purple hints to it as well. Beautiful looking on the lips. Again, all of these go on runny. You have to let it rest on your lips for a bit for it to dry down completely, and then it looks so good on the lips. This shade would flatter all skin tones, so if you were looking for something like this, you can try this out. The formula is comfortable. So next up I have the shade called Mild Mauve. So this is how it looks. I'm going to show you guys a swatch of it once it dries down. This one particularly smells different, you know, it smells like turpentine oil. Like for a minute I was like, is someone painting the house? Like that's how it smells. It's very different from the other shade of this that I own, so just keep that in mind. Don't be in for a surprise, and if you wanted to avoid it altogether, you can. It's a very gray toned shade, again, not something that would flatter a lot of different skin tones, might not be a lot of people's preference even, and it's a little bit of a high maintenance shade, so you need to do your makeup a certain way for this one to even flatter your skin tone, so might as well just skip on this. But initially when they launched, I remember a lot of people went crazy for this particular shade, so that's the reason I picked it up, and I was like, what? The next one we have is one of my absolute favorite. This one is in the shade Mocha Shot, something that I wear on a regular basis. What a beautiful brown with subtle red hints to it, something that works for so many different skin tones, and this is my everyday shade, and it works without makeup as well. Try the shade out and thank me later. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your favorites in the comment section down below, and let me know, okay, don't forget, let me know if I have to continue this, and only then will I continue doing these videos. Let me know in the comment section down below, and while you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video, and I see you guys in the next one. Bye. Yeah, I'm watching the rise, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked, cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride, this one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife.